Welcome to Stories We Weren't Supposed to Tell. This is a survivor-led space where we speak honestly about abuse, healing, and what it really takes to rebuild your life. This podcast is not a substitute for therapy or medical advice. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and take care of yourself while listening. Before we get into this episode, please know this conversation contains discussions of addiction, domestic violence, strangulation, pregnancy, incarceration, grief, and homicide. Please listen at your own pace. Today is a little different. This isn't the story of a stranger. This is Randin's story. She is sharing the relationship that forever changed her life, the man who became her child's father, and everything that happened before, during, and after that relationship. We'll talk about how addiction and trauma can make dangerous situations feel normal, how abuse escalates over time, how hope can keep someone trapped, and what it takes to finally break free. Because this story isn't about one bad decision, it's about survival, it's about healing, and it's about proving that your past doesn't get to decide your future. This is Randin's story, and I'm going to let her tell it. So, Randin, before we get started, today, again,
round two.
Tell us about Randin today.
Randin today. Above everything, I'm a mom.
Very good one.
I would say that I am a fighter. I'm very competitive.
Very.
Very competitive. I'm a healer. I'm an alchemist. I'm an author. Like, there's so many things that I can say. I've come a long way. Like, last year, Randin is completely different than this year, Randin. The growth I've had this past year, especially the past 2 years, but this year especially has been insanity. And just somebody who is really driven by their purpose.
Okay. And tell me about your life before Stephen.
Okay, so I was married. I had my two older children. There's a lot. I could probably go into a whole 2 episodes and just this alone. So just I was starting to go through my divorce. I was active in my addiction. I was an awful person at this time. Before I met him, awful person. Somebody that if I seen them on the street, I'd probably run them over with my car type of person. And yeah.
In all fairness, you're also very hard on yourself, so I doubt you were the type that I'd run over with my car. You made bad decisions, yes, but I don't think I'd ever run you over. Just
yeah,
saying.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. But I am hard on myself about that time of my life for sure.
And how about the beginning? How did you meet Stephen?
So, going through my divorce, I was just recently kicked out of my house, right? And one of my friends told me they seen my ex-husband's picture on Plenty of Fish or something like that. So I was like, oh, screw this. I can do this too. So I made me a little account and, of course, matched with Stephen. We talked back and forth for a little bit. And then I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I still love my husband. I want to work stuff out with my husband. So I just deleted it all, deleted Plenty of Fish off my phone and was trying to get the steps to get back on track. So of course, the 100 times before, of course, I wasn't going to stop getting high. My excuse was, oh, you're going to nursing school. You're going, you're working in 2 jobs. It was just any excuse I could think of to make sure that I was able to keep using. So, then found out again from somebody else that he was on this or that, all these different dating sites. And I thought, you know what? He doesn't want to be with me anymore. I'm making shitty decisions. He wants a divorce. He's kicked me out. I can't even see my kids, whatever,
Yeah.
And I could see my kids. I was staying at my brother's house at the time. And my kids could come over and stay with me there. That was kind of the rule. So on the weekends, I would have them and I wouldn't go anywhere or do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sit there with them. So I make my profile. I immediately look for him, reach out to him, and then I was like, oh, let's just text. So I gave him my phone number. So like we moved off the app or whatnot, you know. He's like, hey, do you want to get together? And I'm like, sure, we can get together. Where do you want to meet? And he's like, hey, will you pick me up on this corner? And I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there in like 20 minutes. So I drive down to the corner. And on the way there, I'm thinking, that is right by the homeless shelter.
Oh, see, I was thinking, where's the wife and kids?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I go and I pick him up. And we hang out for a little bit and like, you know, just talking and bullshitting and stuff. And then I'm like, all right, well, I need to go back. I got to go to work. Da, da. So I take him back. Well, I'm like, where do you want me to drop you off? He tells me to go right back to the same corner. So I drop him off. And as I'm leaving, I'm like, he has to be homeless. Like that he has to be homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my head, I was thinking, you're homeless too. You know, you're living with your brother, like you don't have nothing to your name right now. Basically, like you're out doing drugs and you're really going to judge him. Right. So I just swept it under the rug, whatever.
Lowered those standards.
Yeah, lowered it. I buried the bar. So we started like going back and forth, meeting up with each other a lot more and talking. And he was very sweet. Very funny. He loved to make you laugh. He loved to smell good. He'd always late for everything because he had to be dressed to the T. Like his Nikes had to match his hat. His shirt had to be buttoned up. Like he had standards when it came to dressing up. He always looked good. And whenever we go anywhere, he'd be like, look at my girl. Isn't my girl so beautiful? Like he would always just talk me up about like how great I was and his girl, da, da, da.
Do you feel like his dressing and being to like high standards, do you feel like that was somewhat hiding some things about him?
I'm sure. I think we all
like he felt that it was
insecure and yeah, I'm sure. We'd be going for walks and stuff and he'd show up. You know, this is later, like he would show up at my condo and he would have like a whole bouquet of flowers that he had gotten on the walk up there because he knew these flowers. He knows how much I love flowers and especially wildflowers. So he would always collect and he'd bring me this big, beautiful bouquet of flowers.
From the very beginning?
From the beginning, he did that. He didn't know how much I loved the flowers like until like going in, but he would stop and give me flowers. So some poor old lady would go to, you know, water her flowers that night and was like, where'd my roses go?
What the heck? Half my bush is missing.
Yeah, right.
At Randin's.
Yeah, don't worry. It was a love gesture.
Okay, hold on. Because you said you were staying with your brother.
I was saying like farther down the line, like bringing him to he'd even still bring him at the condo is what I'm meaning, like farther down the line. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I bet other people will have that question. So, it's so, like I said, it's so hard because last time I couldn't even go in order and I tried to like play stuff in my head to like try to keep myself straight this time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So let's go back to living with your brother. When you were living with your brother and you started talking to Steven, would you bring him around the family?
So I brought him up one time. And, you know, we went downstairs, we were watching TV, and my brother sent me a message and he's like, why is some weird guy in my basement? And I thought that was pretty rude of me not to ask about having somebody over or talking to him, like, right. You know? And so I turned to Steven and I was like, I don't think we should be here. I think we need to go somewhere else. And so I just texted my brother, sorry, we're going to leave in a second. Should have asked you, whatever. Yeah. And so other than that, he really didn't go around my family at all. No, I was still hoping to get the ex back, hoping to work stuff out, hoping to clean myself out. Like Steven was never the end game for me. Not one time ever was I like, this guy's my end game. Yeah. Does that make sense? Like I loved him, trauma bond loved him, but it was never, he asked me all the time to marry him. And I'd be like, okay, no intention whatsoever. Right. So, I mean, if you wanted to get down to it, I was probably very abusive to him too. I think I know it was a two-way street. So, and I also knew when we were dating that it was a two-way street. And that's why he was able to make me beat myself up so much and forgive him for the stuff he did. Mm-hmm. And I've realized that now looking back. I always say, oh, the same man on a different body.
Okay. So, back to he'd bring you all the wildflowers.
Yeah. Also, he would go to the gas station. He'd make sure he got me the candy bars that I liked, the sodas that I liked. No matter what, if he had $2, he was spending half of that on me. He was very thoughtful like that.
Form of love bonding?
But definitely.
A form of love bombing?
Love bombing. And that's something he is extremely great at. Mm-hmm. Just like how Galen said, I'm going to marry that girl. Well, he said that all the time about me too, instantly when he met me. Yeah. He was telling everybody, I'm going to marry that girl. I'm going to marry that girl. And not taking anything away from Galen, because Galen was the love of his life. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Galen was his girl. Mm-hmm. And he loved her, But the love bombing shit, Yeah. So we'd go to hotels. I'd be high. We'd go just all the different places that we would stay. Usually I would get the hotel room. We'd stay there for however long, And the relationship was good. It was like honeymoon, like butterflies, excited to see each other, It was really good. And he kept saying, like, can we be together? Can we be together? And I kept just kind of like not really answering him, but just kind of, I basically like, look, I'm going through a divorce. We can't publicly be together yet. Like, I need to make sure this is all going through. It's going to be a nasty divorce. I'm on drugs already. Like, I got enough shit on my plate. So he puts on Facebook that we're in a relationship, and I come unglued. And he's just like yelling at me, that you're just going to leave me anyways and go and be with your ex-husband. I'm just a placeholder, just all kinds of shit. We fought back and forth about it. I removed it from my Facebook, like, completely, but he didn't. But it was a huge fight, and it was a big infringement on something that we had already talked about. Yeah. And the thing is he's like, well, I'm so excited. I want to show you off. I want to scream to the world. I want to do this. I want to do that. But why? Why on Facebook? Like, why do you even care? It's Facebook. Yeah. You don't care. Like, this is real life. Whatever.
Yeah, we used to put that we were in relationships with like beavers at first.
Right?
Did you ever do that?
No.
In a relationship with a beaver?
But I also was an adult when Facebook came out, and you were what? Senior, probably? Junior or senior?
I was a senior,
yeah,
yes.
I was going to say, because
Look at you. Good job.
I know. The math was mathin'.
It was mathin' today.
So that was kind of like a really big fight. I help him get a job. I help him get on this program so that way they can help him get an apartment and get back on his feet. We go through all the motions, and I say we because, of course, I held his hand through the whole thing. And he gets this crummy ass apartment, this little studio apartment that's like kitchen, living room, bedroom, bathroom. That's it. It's probably just a little bit bigger than this garage. Not very big at all. And I didn't move in with him, but I took a lot of my stuff over there and I stayed with him a lot. I was also driving. I'd get off work. I'd take him to work, pick him up. I was constantly driving him and the people that he worked with places and to work and stuff. And so I became pretty good friends with his friends. And so the one day, I dropped him off, I get home from work, and it's in the morning, I go take a shower, and I notice all my stuff's hidden. And I'm like, what the hell? So, I'm going through everything. Finally, I find it, and I text him, and I'm like, why is all my stuff hidden?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, we had a surprise inspection. I had to make sure all your stuff was hidden because they're not supposed to know you're there. I'll lose the program, this and that. And I thought, oh, okay. But I'm like, in the middle of the night?
Right, because you work nights.
Because I was working nights at the time. I was working a graveyard shift. And I was like, weird. But then I thought, you know what? Maybe it was before 6. Maybe, I'll just give the benefit of the doubt, whatever. A few days later, same thing. What the hell? So I message him again, and I'm like, why is all my stuff hidden again? And he's like, oh, Galen came over with the kids, I don't want her to know about us yet because she'll take the kids away. She won't let the kids come over here. You're on drugs, like, da 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 da. And I was like, once again, okay, that makes sense. I can take that, right? And then, like, I don't know, maybe a week or so later, not too much later, again, my stuff's hidden. But this time there is a basket with like makeup and perfume and shampoo and conditioner sitting on the bathroom counter.
That's not yours.
That's not mine. Okay. So I messaged him again. I actually took a picture and was like, what the fuck is this? And where's my shit?
Mm-hmm.
Right. He said, oh, Galen's water heater went out, some shit. She came over and took a shower and all this stuff. And I'm like, so now I'm like, whatever, dude, whatever. And so I sit there and go, well, what? And in my head, I'm like, I don't even want to be with him anyways. I don't even know why I care, why I'm being so pissy about it, whatever. If him and her are doing something or not doing something, whatever. And then I got like jealous too, where I was like, this is fucking stupid. Da 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 da. I'm gonna whoop his ass and her ass, whatever.
Human nature.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you want it. If somebody else has it, now you want it.
Right. So I remember I went to work and the next day I went and took him and a couple of his friends to work, and I go back to the house and I'm like cleaning the house up and stuff. And his one friend came over, which these guys were homeless on the streets, running around doing drugs. They'd come over, I'd let them in. Nothing would ever happen. Like nothing, there was nothing like that. But it was just kind of like, Stephen was like, my door's always open to anybody who's on the street. You just let them in. Unless it's somebody that you're uncomfortable with, then tell them they can come back when I get home, whatever. So I let him in. And, we're just sitting there bullshit. And he's like helping me clean and stuff. And he goes, hey, I need to tell you something. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I just think you're really cool and you don't deserve what's happening to you. Well, what's happening to me? And he's like, he's got another girl that's up the street. She comes over here when you're at work and neither one of you guys know about each other, right? I'm like, what the fuck? So I packed up all my shit, all my cleaning shit. I had an envelope with money for rent because, of course, he was spending his money on alcohol. He was a really bad alcoholic. He drank a gallon of vodka easily a day. There was gallons of jugs all over his place. Hidden. Yeah. So I grabbed that envelope. I remember that. And I took the money with me because fuck you. Have that bitch pay for your shit. Mm-hmm. He was so mad because he got kicked out of his place after that.
Of course.
Yeah.
He didn't have money to pay for it.
He didn't have money to pay for it. He got kicked out of that place and he was so mad it was my fault.
And they're strict. If you're going to be there, you're going to follow the rules.
Yeah, because you're on that program. Yeah. If you're not going to do it, I'm going to get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That was my fault. He got kicked out of his place.
No. Yeah. No, ma'am.
I know it wasn't now, I know, but then.
All right.
Then I didn't. And I just kind of was like, done, right? I was done. And this was one of the times I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to do good. I'm going to get clean again. Going to do this, going to do that. All the promises that I broke to myself all the time. Going down the river of denial without a paddle. And
up shit creek without a paddle.
And around this time, my parents had bought a condo, and that I was going to rent out from them. And the reason was because my name was still in the house, so I couldn't get anywhere to approve me for rent. I couldn't get another house. I didn't have, so my parents, bless their hearts, were trying to help me. And I move into this condo, and slowly but surely he like creeps his way back in, and he's like, I don't even like her. She is just this, that, you're going to leave me anyways for your ex, and just anything he could put in my mind of, you're on drugs. So how are you going to point fingers that you're on drugs? I mean, everything and anything. Like, you're being with you, Galen's going to take away my kids. Like, there was just 100 things of why.
Even though he was too.
Oh yeah. Well, and at this time when we first met, he was drinking more than anything, but he was using meth before I met him. But he tells everybody that I was the reason he started using meth, which is not true. He did start using it more frequently with me, and I mean, I probably did have a big part of that. But no, like, whatever. So he weasels his way back in. Everything's going good. But he's getting upset for one. I won't let him move in because when I had my older kids, they didn't like him. They didn't like him at all. And those are my kids. Like, I want to be with my kids, not you. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
above all, they're number one.
Yeah. Even when I was on drugs, you know, whatever.
Which I'm going to say that's huge because a lot of moms disappear and they don't step it up when they need to. So I'm going to, you know, bravo to you.
Yeah.
Because that takes a lot.
Yeah, it was hard. He starts to be really sneaky again. And I'm catching on to this. So I put some spyware on his phone. Not my biggest, like, brightest moment, you know.
We've all been there.
But I put on his phone. And I went to work. And he was like messaging about they were messaging about, no, he hadn't got kicked out of his place yet at this point. See, this is when I'm meaning my timeline. So this was before. I remember it probably took them 6 weeks or so to kick him out, actually. Because I think he was still there, but he wasn't paying, and then they had to do the eviction.
Oh, yeah, the eviction process takes quite a while.
So I am on the right timeline. I just had to think about it for a second. So I'm like, all right. So he's like, come over to my place. You know, it's middle of the night. So I leave work. I'm like, I have to go. I leave work. I go over there. I pound on the door. I can hear them talking. I can hear the phone ringing. I can hear everything, you know, and I'm like sitting outside waiting. I probably waited like an hour because there was like a little hallway where the doors were, you know, and I just sat outside in the middle of the hallway just waiting. And thinking I'm just going to whoop her ass, whoop his ass. And then I thought, it's not worth it. So I went home. And the next day, oh, sorry, she's so crazy. I could see the messages he was sending to her and what he was saying to her.
Oh.
And, you know, this is why I can't leave her all the way yet, but I want to be with you. You know, shit men tell women.
Of course.
So then he calls me. He's like, hey, come over. I'm like, all right, I'll be over there in a minute. I'm on my way. So, of course, I show him. I'm like, oh, by the way, I spywared your phone. So how was last night? And why didn't you answer the door? And why are you telling her this shit?
Did he shit his pants?
He came out fucking glued.
I bet.
I violated his privacy. How dare I? He doesn't look at mine and my ex-husband's messages. He doesn't pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm just going to leave him. Same old story. Worked every time on me.
Yeah.
Right? And
do you think it worked every time because part of you knew it was true? You were just going to leave him?
I think, yeah. I think that did work because it was like, But one thing I'd always tell myself was like, but I'm still loyal to him. Like, I'm still being loyal to him. I'm not out talking to other guys. I'm not out doing this and that. Like, I'm still loyal to him. So why can't he treat me with the same respect? And I remember saying that to him. So yeah, he came unglued and was like, what the hell? And he came after me. That was probably it was the first time he had came after me. And it was just crazy because it was like this light switch. Like, he was gone. And he came after me. And I remember I just ran out. He never got his hands on me, but I ran all the way out and, you know, went back to the place, to my condo, and I called some friends over to keep me safe, make sure nothing happened. Like, because I'm like, I'm just scared. I'm worried. I don't know what this guy's going to do. And a few days go by, and then he does show up. And by this time, nobody's there. I feel like I'm fine, whatever. He shows up, and he's like, I'm so sorry. You're the first girl that I've ever been like that with. You make me so jealous. I can't stand the thought of you being with somebody else. I can't, like, I just want to be with you. Will you marry me? I love you, da-da-da-da-da, right? So, of course, I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
Love you too.
Love you too, honey. And everything's okay for maybe a week. I don't think we ever went over a week, 2 weeks of getting along ever.
Wow.
Yeah. It was always the same thing is we would just start beefing. Shit would happen. We wouldn't talk to each other for a few days and everything would be all right. Like it was the craziest cycle. And my mind state, because I just want to say like where I was mentally was on drugs. I could barely keep a job. I had dropped out of school. I never got to see my kids. I was shitty mom, like name it, name it, name it. I was just constantly beating myself up. I had no self-love. I had no self-worth. I had nothing at this point, like dead, just dead inside, you know?
A shell of a person.
Mm. And I had these two gay friends that lived up the street. One cross-dresser. I don't know if I've ever told you about my cross-dresser friend.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
I've never heard of it.
I'll have to tell you. They were a hoot. They were so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So much fun. And I was over there and he showed up and he's like, hey, I've been looking for you. You're not answering my phone calls. You're not returning my text messages. And I'm like, well, yeah, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Why are you, this is kind of crazy that you just literally tracked me down and came to my friend's house. And my friends loved him. So they were like, oh, come on in. Like they want to do a threesome with him. And I remember the one time he goes, oh, honey, I was in prison. You know, he's like, trust me, the things I would do to you, and like winked at him. And I thought he was joking, but now thinking back, I don't know if he was joking.
Right.
You know, but yeah, he was a big jokester. He liked to get people to laugh. But so we start fighting. You know, we're going back and forth. Like he's shoving me, I'm shoving him. My friends are like, you guys got to go. Like, you guys got to go. So we get in the car. And this fucking dude jumps out of the car.
All right.
And I swear to God, he was possessed because we get in the car, we're driving away, and I look over and he's not, nobody's home. Crystal. I look over, nobody's fucking home. Blank and black. He had these really dark brown eyes anyways, but black. And he jumped out of the car. He hurt his ankle really, really bad. But he was like saying some gibberish. I don't understand what the fuck he was saying. My friends realized what was going on. They came running out of the house. We get him into the car. We take him back. And even they're like, something's wrong with him. Like, what is going on? Like, is he possessed? I'm like, I feel like he is. But I don't know if I'm just really high. I haven't slept in a couple days. That could be possible too. We don't know. And
you're like, I don't even know if he really jumped out or if I imagined that.
Well, yeah, I have no idea right now, right? And so that was the craziest shit ever. And he slept for like 6 or 7 hours, wakes up completely normal, you know? Well, and so he, of course, goes and finds whatever alcohol I have in the house. He starts drinking. And we start fighting again. We start fighting about how, you know, first he starts going at me. Like, I know you're fucking other people. I know you're doing this and that. You go over to your one friend's house and sit with him like all night long some nights when you're not at work. Okay, you're right, but I don't sleep with him.
Right.
He was very jealous of this guy, but I'd met him on Plenty of Fish too. He was a up there drug dealer. Up there drug dealer. But you would have never known.
Mm-hmm.
He like lived on poverty level, but he had so much fucking money hid all over in his house. He had his pit bull was trained. If you picked up something of his and it was in your hand, the dog would start to follow you.
Really?
Oh, he had 3 different pit bulls and they all had their own jobs, different jobs. He had trained those. I've never seen dogs trained like that before.
That is awesome.
Right. But scary at the same time.
Him.
Scary at the same time. I know he handed me a pipe one time and then he's like, oh, we got to go clean this. And I put it in my pocket. That dog almost took me fucking out.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It was the scariest shit ever. That dog almost took me out. Anyways, I'd like to know how he trained those dogs. I should call and ask him because I still know him.
Come to my house. Hey, can you come train my dogs?
Right.
I can't even get mine to come.
Right. No recall. So we start fighting about that. And we had, I think he had a couple of his other friends that had showed up like somewhere around the time we started fighting. And he started banging my head up against the wall. And he like had his hands around my neck. And I'm like sitting there, like trying like, is this really happening? I remember that thought going in my head, like, is this really happening? Like I had to almost like figure out, is this a dream? What's going on, you know? And I like tried to put my hands up through his hands like this, and he wasn't doing it. So I reached around and I put my hands in his eyeballs. I remember that clear. I put it in my hands, like my nails were in his eyeballs, and I hit him in the dick as hard as I could.
Good job.
Right? And I took off running, and I was like screaming outside hysterically. It's like probably 11, 12 o'clock at night at this time, screaming hysterically. Well, of course, the cops show up because I'm sure one of my neighbors called, and they take him to jail. And what does his friends talk me into doing?
Of course, go and get him.
Let's go get him out. Let's go get him out. And I'm like, no. And then I started thinking about, he's not wrong that I'm always over this other guy's house. I mean, not doing anything, but he's not wrong. Like I probably would put my hands on him if the situations were reversed, right? Because back then, they said, like, you know me now. Back then, I wouldn't give a shit. I would start swinging on anybody. Yeah. So we go and bail him out. I even remember signing with the Bell's bondsman. I remember even signing a thing that saying that this crime wasn't against me as I'm signing it as it was.
Oh, shit.
With a
perjury, baby.
Whatever. Of course, we get the charges.
With the freaking hand marks around your neck. You're like, nah, it
wasn't me. Yeah. So, charges get dropped, of course. And we get along. We're like at that relief stage of whatever. And of course, what comes up again? She's texting him. I catch him texting her again, of course. So I tell him, you got to go. Get the fuck out. Be gone. And I come home from work. He's gone. So's Lily. He stole my fucking dog.
Not Lily.
He stole my fucking dog. So I'm freaking out, putting posts on Facebook.
Which, if anybody knows Randin, Lily is the soul connection, the pet connection. Like,
yeah.
Lily is.
She was my baby.
Mm-hmm.
That dog was my ride or die. She went through every difficult part of my life.
Yeah.
She was there for me. And, you know, she passed away on right around the 4th of July 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I had her for 16 years. She was my baby. And so I'm like, I bet I know where this fucker's at. So I get in my car, I'm pissed. You know, I've already called the cops. They've come, they've done a police report. I drive up right up to that bitch's house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get out of the car and run up there, and I'm pounding on the door. And she opens up the door and she's like, I'm going to get you for trespassing. What the fuck are you doing here? Like, you're lucky that I don't beat your ass. And I'm like,
bitch, try.
Come out here, lady. Like, just take a step. Take a fucking step. Because she had the door like open like this wide, you know, so because she probably knew that I would have grabbed her by the hair and drug her out. Because I would have if she would open that door all the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking over and she's got a little coat, like, you know, where you hang up your coats and stuff. And Lily's leash is up there. So I'm like hitting the door. I'm screaming. She's like, I'm calling the cops. I said, good, call the cops because they're coming to get my dog anyways. Like, give me my fucking dog. I don't have your dog. Where's Steven? I don't know where he's at. Crazy because his bike's right there. You know, like, So anyways, the cops come. This is a civil matter. We don't have a warrant to get in her house. She's telling us the dog's not there. Go home. Hopefully the dog will just show up. My poor dog was gone for a week. I was sitting in my living room watching TV and she showed up on he had opened up the patio and put her in. That dog slept for like 3 or 4 days. She drank and ate so much water when she got home. She must have been terrified for her life. Like, she was probably like, when am I ever going to see mom? And I'm with this lunatic. Right?
Aww.
So I stole Lily. He had gotten arrested shortly after this for, I don't remember if it was a DUI. I don't remember what it was, but he got arrested. And he spent a couple weeks in jail because, of course, nobody's going to go bail him out. Mm-hmm. And he gets out. First place he comes, my place. He's sober. And let me tell you, sober Steven, there's not one person in this world that wouldn't love him.
Yeah.
I think that was part of my problem too, was when he was sober, like you couldn't put anybody above his ass.
Yeah. Those fleeting moments.
Mm-hmm. And he got a job. He was doing really good. We were fighting because I wouldn't let him move in, of course. So when the kids are over, like I would go get him a hotel room, make sure he had somewhere to stay. And I was taken care of because, baby, it's just another baby. And it was my fault that he couldn't just stay at the house anyways. Yeah, so he's doing really, really good. And it was probably one of the longest stretches we ever had without fighting. It was so nice. And then he started drinking again. And not only did he start drinking, he was doing meth more than I was, which was crazy then, because that was like my peak of my shit, right? Crazy. And he got he's pretty paranoid, pretty delusional. And he came after my ass again. And I called the cops. Cops came and took him to jail. I went and got a protective order. And the judge was like, "Are you sure you want to do this? You can't see him. You're just laying down the law to me, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, I want to do this." Da da da. So I get the restraining order. And he wasn't doing what he needed to be doing when he got out for his other shit, and he had to, he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. So he starts getting all crazy, and so he is literally all tweaked out on his phone. I don't know if you remember, like 15 years ago, because I've been sober for a while. This was a while ago. And you could take, like, literally the programs were in your phone. You could go into your settings and you could mess with the programs, right? That's how you got the spyware on there. So he constantly was like deleting and making his phone's mess up. He's all tweaked out. He's telling me I have spyware on his phone. I'm like, dude, I did it one time. I already told you I did it. I told you I wasn't going to do it again. I'm not going to do it again. He was determined that I put it on his phone again all the time. So he's like, his phone doesn't work good. He's sitting there. He's telling everybody and their dog, anybody that listen, that I'm spying on him, that I fucked his phone up, that this and that, like I'm doing all this crap. I remember Galen even called. I had a message from Galen that was like, "You need to quit messing with his phone or we're going to have a problem," or something. She threatened me.
Probably because she couldn't get a hold of him for the kids, but she had no idea.
Yeah. And I'm like, "I swear to God, I'm not doing anything to this fucking phone." And I was going to call her back and be like, "Bitch, come meet me right now. Meet me right now. I will come to your house right now." But I didn't. I just let it go. And so we start fighting bad about this. I mean, like, I think I broke his phone. Like, I literally, like, just was like, "Bitch, now what you gonna do?
Yeah.
Now tell everybody, because I just broke your phone."
Yeah.
And he was staying in the back of one of his friends' houses in their shed. But it was like a big shed, and it was all to be rented out. Like, it was nice. And I had went over there. I dropped in there unannounced, and the door was locked. And I kicked that fucking door in. And I feel so bad for his friend, like, thinking back on that. I'm like, dude, I kicked that guy's door in. And then he came out and told me I had to pay for the door. And I told him to fuck off, that I was going to kick his face in. And he went back inside.
He's like, "I believe her."
Yeah. And him and that girl was there again. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Done this time, right? And he chased me out, beat the fuck out of me. And in my brain, I'm high. I deserve the shit. I just went and I just made this big ass scene, and his friend, the place he's living at, like, and in my head, I justified it that I deserved it on that one. I deserved it. I had to stop. I don't even think I told you this whole story last time.
No, you didn't.
So I had to stop at the gas station. And I stop at the gas station at 7-Eleven, and it's right by the South Ogden Police Department, right? And I mean, I'm bleeding, I'm fucked up, but I don't care. I want a drink. I want some smokes. I'm going back to my condo, right? Well, there's 2 detectives in there and a police officer. And so, they're like, "What happened? What's going on? Are you okay?" And I just came unglued, started crying, and told him what had happened. So he got kicked out of his friend's house. So he's running around on the run. The cops are looking for him for this new assault charge, right? That he doesn't know about. Plus, he's not been doing all the shit he was supposed to be doing anyways when he got out and, last time. And detective was one of the detectives. And he listened to me so many times cry. And great. great police officer, great everything. And he was sick of my shit. And he would tell me straight up, like, stop doing stupid shit. Stop going around him. Stop giving him the power. I mean, he was very direct and blunt. But of course, I'm on drugs. I'm out doing whatever I want. Whatever. So I'm not listening. And deaf ears.
And even in that moment, if you do want it, you do sometimes, correct me if I'm wrong, want to do what he's saying. It's just hard to execute.
Yes, absolutely. Because when he was telling me, like, I'm wholeheartedly all about it. Like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And then didn't, you know. So him and his friends are like walking down the street and detective recognizes him. And he gets tased. Yeah, don't tase me, bro. He gets tased and he goes to jail. And of course, it's like, oh, go bail him out. His friends go bail him out. I'm not bailing him out. I'm not bailing him out. I'm not bailing him out. I'm like, I'm done. I need to be done. I'm not doing it. Of course, I'm starting to run amok even more. I'm not working. I am doing illegal shit to get drugs. And so by this time I have warrants out for my arrest too. He gets out of jail and he of course shows up at my house again. And I'm so sorry. I can't believe what I've done to you. I love you. Please just take me back. I have nowhere to go. You're all I have. You're my everything. We used to call each other every stuff. You're my every stuff. And so I let him back in. And my one friend comes over. This was maybe 1 or 2 nights. I don't even remember. Like, it wasn't very long. 1 or 2 nights. And my friend comes over. The one he hated me hanging out with. And he used to always give him Steven shit, and he'd give me shit. He'd be like, oh, wedding bells, dun, 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 dun. He's like, you got this guy thinking that you're going to marry him, and we both know you're not. Because I had deep talks with him. Like, he knew everything about me. Like, he knew how I felt about the whole situation. He also wanted to whip my ass. He actually locked me in a room once and took my phone away so I wouldn't call him. So I wouldn't call Steven. Actually, he held me hostage for a while. So I wouldn't call him when I was like spiraling, which is really creepy now that I think back on it.
I mean, it is, but it's not.
He was trying to save me.
Think of the situation, because I would lock your ass in a closet too. So.
Yeah. So anyways, we start fighting. We start fighting about that. And it's a pretty bad fight. And he's like trying to choke me out. And I'm fighting his ass back. And I'm trying to push him out my front door. And he wouldn't go. And then I grabbed his backpack because I was like, and then he was trying to run the other way. I grabbed his backpack and I was like, fuck you. You're not going out the other door. I told you how to go out this door. I turned around and I threw him towards the door. Well, I threw him through the glass. We had a glass that was right next to my door at the condo. This big, beautiful glass. Threw his ass through there. So he takes off, stole my car, takes off, steals my car. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like sitting there. I'm like putting a cardboard thing up over the door. I'm like freaking out because it's November. It's cold. It's November at this point. And he used to always steal my shit too. God, I just remember that. Like all my really expensive jewelry, he stole all of it. All of it. I had so much pretty jewelry that my ex-husband had given me. He stole every single bit of it. And so come to find out, he has my car at Walmart. And so our one friend shows up. He's like, hey, I need to take you to get your car. It's at Walmart. I don't know where he went, but it's at Walmart. I'm like, all right, so go down there, get my car. And then he knew exactly where he was because he went and picked him up. Got my car. So I'm driving around. I'm going to get my drugs, do my thing. I'm on my way home. And I pull in and the cops pull in behind me. And this was like just right before that. He had messaged me, asked me when I was going to be home, maybe like an hour before that. And I'm like, probably about a half an hour, 45 minutes or so. They roll up and I'm thinking shit because I have so much drugs on me. I'm like, I'm going for a minute. I'm going for a minute. So I step out of the car. I slam the door. Right. And I told my other friends, I said, stay in the car. Don't get out of the car. Just don't get out of the car. I slam the door and get up. And they're like, well, hello, Randin. Well, hello. You know why we're here? And I'm like, sure do. Sure do. So they arrested me. They took me to jail. And I was in jail for 4 months before I went on to work release. And he stayed there.
Now, why did you go to jail? Did they find the drugs or was it for?
It was for my warrants for like identity fraud, forgery, Yeah, so they take me to jail for that. And I was trying to get clean, like actually probably the hardest I tried the whole time, like the 2 weeks up to that. Like I had not been getting high, but I had been. But I had slept for like 2 or 3 days before all this shit happened, right? Because I was trying to sober up. And then all this shit happened. And of course, I'm like, oh, I got to do drugs to calm down. I got to go do meth to calm down.
Right.
Like, how delusional was I? So remember when I was getting sentenced, and I remember asking the judge, I wanted work release, and I didn't want my children to be punished for my poor decisions anymore. And so he gave me this program to where I didn't have a set amount of time that I had to be at work release. So I think I only had to be there for like an hour, 2 hours a day. And the rest of the time I could be out. But I was very strict. For when I wanted to be sober, I had decided that I was going to be there for my kids. I was going to get my shit together, and I did. And so I was very strict. Even if I could spend another extra hour somewhere at home, I wouldn't do it. I would go back, like if I wasn't working. But they stopped keeping track of me after like 3 weeks. They're like, we just know you're not going to come back. We know you're doing good. Like,
yeah,
they just really didn't even.
They probably could tell.
Yeah, I think they can tell.
Yeah.
Because there was more than one of the officers there that was like, they even quit bringing me food. Like I never had food there. The one day I didn't have anywhere to go for a whole day. And I'm like, I'm just going to sleep and eat and stuff. And I go out to get my tray and they're like, we didn't bring you one from county. They didn't bring you one because you're never here. And so
you just starved?
One of the officers went and got me lunch.
Oh.
Yeah, she's like,
they wouldn't do that for everybody.
She goes, I'm going to get tacos. You want some tacos? I was like, fuck yeah. And then I got to go eat in their little break room, which is probably breaking so many laws, but.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like I said.
I mean, there has to be something like that for people that make mistakes. You know what I mean?
And what's so funny is the lady that did that was one of the most like hard ass, meanest bitches there. Like everybody hated her. I loved her.
It's because you didn't give her any problems.
Yeah. No, she was so great to me. Like everybody's like, I don't understand. And I'm like, she's cool as fuck. Just do what she says.
Yeah.
Like it's easy peasy. I don't, but it's not when you don't want to get your life together. It's not. And I would have been one of those other people of, whatever. Anyways, making the story a lot longer than it has to be with all my offside stuff. So he had made a deal with my mom and dad. He had got a job. He was working. My dad actually got him a job. He was working in utility. And he was paying my mom and dad rent. So I don't know how I didn't notice before, but it was like a few days before I got out, and I noticed none of my pictures were up. None of my kids' pictures were up. All my kids' shit was gone. Like anything worth value in that house was fucking gone. A lot of my clothes and my shoes were gone. Like I'm like, and probably because I didn't spend a lot of time there. And I was like, what the fuck? So I asked him, and he's just like, well, Gayleen, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I gave the kids' stuff to my kids. I haven't given them anything for a while, da, da, da. And I was like, you can mess with my shit, but you're messing with my kids' shit. Like, you gotta go. You gotta go. And so I had a few more days or whatnot. So he's pissed. He packed up his shit and he left. I got out. I was doing good. We were still like seeing each other. He'd come over and hang out like once a week or something like that. But not like really, really seeing each other. In fact, I was dating this other guy and I really liked him. And he had his shit together. He was such a good guy. He finds out about him. He messages him and is like talking shit like, oh, this is my girl, da, 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 all this crap. So of course that guy's like, I don't know what you got going on over there, but I want no part of it.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame him.
Yeah.
But really shitty. Then I found out I'm pregnant. And holy shit. I was excited, but not as excited as him. As a matter of fact, because when Little Caesars, and I ate a whole thing of breadsticks before I got back to my condo, which was like a 5-minute drive. And I pulled in the driveway and I'm like, shit, when was my last period? So I called him, I told him, went and picked him up, got a pregnancy test, went back to the house, took the pregnancy test. And of course it's positive. And he kept that pregnancy test. Even when I went and picked up all of his stuff after he had passed away, he had that pregnancy test with him still.
Mm.
He was so excited about her. So excited about her. Of course, he starts coming around more. You know, he starts talking about, oh, we should be together. At this point, I'm like pretty sure me and the ex-husband are over. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe we should. I got this baby coming, whatever. And so he's coming over a lot more, but he was not living there. He was not living there. And I had some people that lived in the basement and they hated him. And that was part of the reason why is they lived there. They didn't want him around. He didn't want there. My mom and dad didn't want him there. So he wasn't living there, but he'd come stay for like 1 to 3 days. And then he'd go out and do his thing or whatnot. And I'm sober at this time. Like I'm working, I'm doing good. I'm going to my drug classes. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. And he's out just running amok, doing the same shit that he's always been doing too. So, he comes over and he gives me his phone and I'm looking through for something. I don't remember what it was. I think he wanted me to order him something or do something. And I get a message pops up. And who's it from?
Oh my God.
So I calmly, because we're up in my bedroom, and I hand him the phone and I said, I need you to leave. And he's like, why? And I said, please, will you just leave? No, why? You need to tell me why. And I was like, I need you to leave, please. He's like, well, what'd you see on my phone? And he opens the phone and he sees a message. And so he's like, immediately he goes, I wrote my ex-husband like this 3-page letter when I was in jail. Mm-hmm. And I was going to give it to him, but I lost it. But he didn't lose it because Stephen had it. Mm. So he went off about the letter. He's like, you're still in love with him. I read that letter. I read everything. I read it because I put some stuff in there about Stephen because it was a difficult part. Knew about Stephen. And I just seen him switch again. Like, I seen him switch again. And I remember in my head when I seen him switch, I remember thinking, like, I remember looking around, seeing if there was anything I could grab. I knew I was done. Like, I knew I was fucking done. And I was like 4 or 5 months pregnant at this point. Mm-hmm. And I just remember him lunging at me. And then I remember trying to grab his hands off my neck and I couldn't get any traction. Like my feet couldn't get traction. I didn't know all I knew was he was choking me out. And then I woke up and he had me by my hair and he was dragging me across the floor and he was crying because he thought he had killed me and he thought he had killed his baby. He was crying.
Holy crap.
And I woke up and I startled him because of course he thought I was dead. And I remember jumping up. I remember looking at him and just running out the door. And I don't even know how my phone made it because my phone was in my bra. So mm-hmm. I don't even know how my phone made it. And I ran out and I called the cops immediately. And I took Lily with me because, of course, I'm not going to leave her behind. And I'm sitting outside and the cops show up. And the cops ask me some questions. They ask him some questions. And then the cop tells me, I need you to go put your dog inside. And I knew exactly why he wanted me to put my dog inside. It's because he was going to take my ass to jail. And so I told him, no, I'm not doing that. Why? And he said, well, because I'm going to take you to jail. And I'm like, he just basically killed me? And you're going to take me to jail?
Yeah.
Well, he lives here. No, he fucking doesn't. He doesn't live here. And he's got wounds on his neck. You attacked him first. No, I didn't. Ask his friends that were in there. Oh, that's what his friend said. He had taken a fork to his neck while I was outside waiting for the cops. And so I'm telling the cop, I'm like, give me your arm. Like, let me sit here and scratch you with my nails. My nails are not going to leave marks. No. Call my mom and dad. He doesn't live here. Call my mom and dad. Well, of course your mom and dad are going to say he doesn't live here. Of course they're going to say that. But I seen the receipts. Well, those were the receipts from when I was in jail is what he showed him. The cops don't look at the dates.
Of course they did.
So then I said, please go talk to my roommates downstairs. Please go get them. They'll tell you, they'll tell you the history. They'll tell you he's not supposed to be here. And the cop said, I'm not doing that. Like, Randin, I'm not doing that. We know the history. I'm
sick of your shit.
Pretty much. So I'm bawling. So I said, just let me go give my dog to the people that live in the room downstairs because he's stolen my dog before. So please let me. Nope. Open up that door, drop your dog inside, and come back over here. So he took me to jail, and I remember I'm bawling. I'm like freaking out. We're like halfway there, and the cop said, "You want to know why I'm taking you to jail and not him?" And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because we'll be back here in a couple days. We might even be back here tonight to get your dead body. That's why."
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a Saturday night. And by the time they got done booking me, I called my brother. My brother was drinking. He was pissed, but of course he came and got me out. And the next day I had court because he bailed me out. My brother took me to court. No, it was 2 days later because this was Saturday. So this was Sunday. I went to an emergency doctor and I had them document because my eyes I had red vessels in my eyes,
First.
and I had strangulation marks around my neck. So I went and had the doctor was like, "Oh yeah, you were strangled." And even at the jail, when they were booking me, they're like, "Oh man, you look pretty bad."
Here I am.
I'm like, "Well, can I go see the doctor? Can I go to the medical unit?" No. They refused to let me go to the medical unit. I mean, my throat was raspy. I couldn't talk. My head was pounding. I was dizzy. It was bad. And they wouldn't let me. They were like, "No." Then the next day, 8:00 rolls around on Monday. We go to court. My brother takes me. I asked to see the prosecutor, and I give the prosecutor the doctor's note. And the prosecutor looks me over and said, oh yeah, we'll drop your charges." I asked the prosecutor, "Hey, can I go back and get my stuff?" And he said, "Well, as soon as the judge says, okay, we're going to dismiss these, you can go back up there." I'm like, all right. So go in there, get dismissed, go over to get a new protective order, right? Because I had canceled the other one.
Right.
Go to get the new protective order. Oh, that's another reason. I canceled it because when I was in jail, he couldn't put money on my books. He couldn't send me letters. He couldn't see me.
That's
and
right.
so I went and seen the judge, and that's when the judge lectured me. That's when the judge said, "Are you sure you want to do this? Because I'm not going to give you another one."
Mm-hmm.
And yes, of course. Yeah, this is what I want to do. So go over there to get the protective order. He's putting one in. He put his in like 5 minutes before I put mine in. Of course he did. And it's the whole time he's staring at me. As he's leaving, he's like, "You reap what you sow. Facts over fiction." He's always telling me facts over fiction. And he had put in that order that I was to pay the bill still, that I was supposed to give him my food stamps so he could eat. This big slew of shit. The judge said no to all that, but he did grant him the protective order, not me. So the judge granted a protective order to somebody who tried to kill me.
Holy crap.
And wasn't even living at my house, and gave him the rights to so I can go back to my own house.
Yeah.
That was my house, not his. And so I remember walking around that whole day, and I remember, because I didn't have a car at the time, because I was on foot. So going to the police station, to the courthouse, trying to go back and forth, trying to get somebody to talk to me. And finally, the clerk was like, "I'm sorry, I've been trying to help you, but there's nothing more that we can do." I'm like, "Why can't I just talk to the judge? Why can't you just go tell the judge the situation? I'm sorry, we can't do that." I understand why. I get it. And so I go up there. I get me some clothes. I had a police officer come with me. He tried to get me violated for that, by the way, but I had a police officer with me. I had gotten the okay to go, and I grabbed some stuff. I had to go sleep on my brother's fucking floor for almost 2 weeks, 5 months pregnant. I lost my job. I was so mad about that. I was kind of in turmoil, and it was so hard for me to get up to my classes from my brother's house, and the bus didn't run after a certain amount of time, and I had to walk. This was like September, but it was still hot as fuck.
Oh yeah, it's Utah.
And I was walking, I had to, instead of walking 2 or 3 miles, I'm walking 8 miles a day.
Pregnant.
And show up for court. He doesn't show up for court. Am I sitting in front of the judge that told me, "I will never give you another protective order." So I'm sitting there thinking,
I'm not getting this.
Because the judge is the one that signed off the other ones, but where I was in front of the commissioner. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to get this. And so she said, well, you're pregnant now, huh? You know, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pregnant. She goes, well, just wondering. I don't remember how she put it, but she said, I'm just wondering how you can get pregnant with all this, what this guy's been doing to you. I don't remember how she worded it. And I just remember poor decisions, poor choices was the only thing that could come out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I remember telling her, I'm like, I know I've just not done anything right at all with any of this. I know, but I'm scared for my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared for my life. And he's been at my home. That's not even his home. He doesn't even live there. I don't know how he fooled the cops into saying that he lived there, but he did. And I just want to go home and I want to be safe. And she grounded it. She grounded it.
She could tell.
Mm-hmm. She grounded it. And I just remember like so much relief. I go up there. My house is fucking emptied out. My house was fucking emptied out. My parents had to start eviction. Cost them a lot of money. Because they had to start the eviction process to try to get him out of there.
Mm.
They had to do it immediately because the day started tick-tocking, you know. And I remember coming upstairs into my room and everything's gone, but I still have my mattress there. And I remember looking and there's a fucking bed bug on my mattress. So I have everything. It's gone. And the few things that I have are infested with bed bugs now. Like, I don't even think I told you about that part either,
No.
did I, huh?
Do you think he planted them, or do you think
No,
they were just on him?
No, I think that man, who knows where he was going, where he was staying, or what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? Who knows? He was really bad at this point. So, you know, of course, get the bed bugs out, slowly refurnishing everything, getting everything going. Had this big baby shower and had a lot of money, had, you know, stuff for the baby. He had always break in the house and steal shit. So he broke in the house and he stole the stuff for the baby. And I'd never called the cops on him for doing it ever. Not one time. I always just let it go. And so I called the cops. Of course, detective shows up. And he, they do fingerprints and stuff. They got his fingerprints on the outside of the window. So, time goes by. I haven't seen him, haven't heard from him. You know, I'm just trying to stay sober, trying to do my thing. He comes back around. And of course, you know, whatever. Stupid me. Comes back around. He's really sick, taken to the hospital. We end up leaving before he even hears anything. I'm about like a week away from having Faye, give or take, you know, something like that. And of course, you know, we start fighting about something again. I tell him he has to leave. He does leave this time. There wasn't any confrontation or anything. And so I have Faye. Week later. I have no way of getting a hold of him. I don't have, you know, he's kind of like doing Obama phones because that's back when, you know, the Obama phones were going around. He had different phone numbers all the time. You text him, it'd be one of his friends would have the phone, just stupid shit. And so I didn't even bother. I didn't want him there anyways.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want him to ruin it. And he always told me he was going to steal her. He was going to steal her and I would never see her. So I didn't put him on the birth certificate. So a few days later, I get this text message and it's him and he's asking about the baby and this and that. And, you know, I sent a picture, said, you know, this is her name. This is when she was born, whatever. And, oh, why didn't you tell me? And I didn't answer him. So I waited a little bit. Then I sent him this big, long message because when she was born, he had given me something. And so she had an eye infection. She had a bunch of junk in her eyes. I took her to the doctor. The doctor was like, oh, you have to get tested. I think this is an STD. It was an STD. I had no idea. Right. So I didn't answer him. And then, so finally I got pissed. So I sent him this big long text message about how, you know, he gave me this. She was born like this. He's a piece of shit. I don't want him around her. I don't want him around me. Forget we existed. Da, 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 da. He calls me. And now I've got him kicked out of whatever house he's staying at because he was using his girl's phone. So he calls me. He's pissed. He's yelling at me, whatever. I just don't care. I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, fuck off. Fuck off. So And this whole time too, like they hadn't caught him for breaking into the house yet. So,
Yeah.
because, I had to backtrack. They hadn't caught him out. So, and which, me, if I kind of like eased to letting him see her more and being around more and things like that, but he couldn't stay for long. I was pretty good about that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I didn't call the cops. I knew he had the warrant. I knew he was going to get arrested for it eventually. Well, it caught up to him.
Yeah.
Detective noticed him again. All the cops knew us. Like, embarrassing. None of the cops know me now, thank God. But so he went back to jail. He gets out of jail. It's probably like June or July of 2016. In phase, 5 or 6 months at this point. And he's Steven again.
Mm-hmm.
He's that Steven again. And
sober.
He did so good for so long. He really did. And he did so good that I actually went and got a paternity test and got him on the birth certificate, which I think was divine intervention, honestly, now that I think back about it.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't get her survival benefits if I wouldn't have done that. And I would be screwed if I didn't have that extra income. Yeah. And so, but of course, as always, slowly starts becoming unrecognizable again. He wasn't living with me. We weren't together. Like, I'm just going to say that right now. There was nothing like that. He was coming to see Faye. We talk, whatever. He'd go on his way. It was never like that. So he, starts fucking off again. And I cut him off. I'm like, you can't see her. You can't come over. You still shit out of my fucking house. I can't trust to take her anywhere. I don't know what you've been, we're not doing it. And it was for a couple months that happened. So he called me. It was his birthday. He called me and I answered the phone because it was his birthday. And he's like, hey, I have some money. Will you please meet me for dinner for my birthday? Will you please bring my daughter? And I thought, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? I will. It's your birthday, but don't expect anything else. I'm meeting you there. I'll drop you off. Done deal. Like, nothing else. So we go have this nice dinner. And during the dinner, he's like, hopefully we get it right the next life. I'm so sorry everything that I did to you. I'm so sorry everything I did to her and everybody. And like, I don't know if he was love bombing me or if he was telling me goodbye. I almost feel like he was telling me goodbye. Like, he knew something was going to happen to him. And I drive him, I drop him off, and we stood and talked to each other in the exact spot that he got shot, which is just crazy to me to think that me and him were in that, because I watched the footage of the trial. Me and him were literally in that same exact spot. I said goodbye, and I remember just leaving and just crying because I was like, I'm not going to see him again. But I couldn't, in my head, I'm like, why am I thinking this way? Is it just, trying to justify it? Well, the next day I get off work, pick Faye up, get home, and I'm sitting outside and I'm smoking a cigarette and Facebook Live. And they're dragging this guy who just got shot around this corner on, 27th and Adams. And it kind of perked, when I was reading, because I was hearing the commotion, but I wasn't watching the video. And then I was reading where it was at, and I was like, uh-oh. And I looked down, and I couldn't see his face, but it was in the shit that Steven wears.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck. So me and Galen have become friends by now. We kind of were like, let's put all this shit aside and let's just be there for the kids. And we have been like, let's make sure the kids are together because he's not going to be able to make sure they're together. And we've done that. And I'm like, do you know where Steven is? And she's like, well, which is her husband now. He dropped him off like about a half an hour ago. He took the kids Christmas shopping. And I'm like, well, where did he drop him off? 27th and Adams. And I just knew. And I kept trying to call his phone. Finally, I'm like, I'm just going to go down there. So I drove down there and they had everything blocked off. And I pull in and I go to walk up, or I go to get out of my car to walk up, and somebody's walking up towards me, and it's my old probation officer. By this time, I got off probation. I graduated from my drug program and off probation fairly quickly. And I said, I think that was Steven that was shot. And he's like, well, I can't release any information. I really don't know anything. I'm just kind of border control right now. He said, call the hospitals and see if he's there, basically. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like trying to get my shit together. I pull my phone out and I'm like scrolling through my phone and I hear a knock on the window. And I look over and it's Detective. And I roll the window down and he's like, you don't have to make those phone calls. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And he said, I can't tell you anything else, but you don't have to make those phone calls. And so I start going I'm like, okay, but did he have a tattoo here? He would always have these necklaces on. Each one of them represented his kids. Like, is his wallet on? Like, he doesn't have ID, but I know this is what's in his wallet. And, I'm just going off. And he's like, Randin, you don't have to make those phone calls. Go home. And so I pick up the phone and call Galen and I'm like, I don't know, like, what he's trying to say. And she's out there. And I said, okay, well, I'm just going to go home and wait to hear from him or wait to hear something. I mean, there's nothing else I can do. So I went home and Galen called me about a couple hours later and said that they had notified his brother that it was him. So.
Do you think if he had never passed away that you would ever gotten away?
Yeah, I do. Because I was already done before all of this happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think he still had a little bit in there with Faye, but I think over time I would have that too, because not only for me, like I couldn't be around it.
Yeah.
Because I needed to stay clean and I needed to stay focused and I needed to do what I needed to do. And she wasn't already there was no way. There was no way he was going to take her. There was no way he was coming,
Yeah.
There was just all those different things. But I don't think it would have been quickly, no. But I think I would have got away.
And just because I'm nosy, and I know that other viewers are too, do you know why he was shot?
Yeah. So he had broke into my house, like he always did. And he broke into my aunt's safe and he stole $3,000 out of the safe. And which we didn't realize until he had been gone for a couple days before she had realized it. And he had sent a picture to this girl with all the money and said, look, I can take care of you. Now, I know 100% what he was meaning was like, see, I can take care of you. We can have a place to live. We can do this. We can do that. She took it as have sex with me and I'll take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
So she told her brother. Her brother told his friend from work. They weren't even really good friends. His friend from work. His friend from work knew his sister and had a really big crush on her. So they decided while they were at work that they were going to go find him. They were going to beat his ass for it. So, they're going around looking for him, smoking meth, drinking, because he was staying on 27th and Adams right now. They knew he was staying there. And so they got to that place or to the apartment waiting for him. And the guy knew he was going to shoot him the whole time. But the brother didn't have any idea. So he got there. They think he's seen the gun because he'd shut the door. And he shut the door. By that time, the brother had caught up to him, opened up the door, grabbed his shirt ripped. He fell down the stairs because the stairs went it was like an L. So he went down and then he went out the door. So that door was supposed to be locked all the time so people couldn't go in there. But of course, it's crackhead Ogden. It's unlocked. And he got back up. So he had so he'd gotten out the door to the street and he had fallen over where the night before where we were talking. And he had fallen over face first and he opened up the door and shot him. So the bullet had went up, but it was also the the hollow points. So so basically from what the medical examiner said was he died almost immediately.
Which is the only thing you could ask for.
Yeah. And it's basically his heart exploded. The guy then ran in, broke into somebody else's house, threw the gun in the back of the toilet, took a shower, changed his clothes, called the girl and said, no, he texted the girl because it was text messages. I killed him for you. Are you going to hold me down while I'm in jail? The cops are outside. It's a standoff. So it took him a few hours to arrest him, get him out of that apartment. When they raided the house, did the search warrant on his house, and he was living with his dad, I believe, did the search warrant. He had grenades. He had AK-47s. He had stuff that citizens should not own and are not allowed to own. Not only that, he was already a felon. Everything was illegal that he had. It took 2.5 years from when he was murdered for him to be sentenced. I think I did tell you how he got out because it had taken so long that he had gotten out.
Yeah, and was just like walking free.
Yeah, he got out. He had to have an ankle monitor. He was on house arrest, but he got out because it was taking so long to get the trial going. They let that fucking dude out.
Which is crazy because they had text message proof of him saying he did it.
They had everything, but the thing is with the murders or with any high-end thing like that, they take so long because they want to cross their T's and dot their I's, right? And then you have every technicality possible that the prosecution and the defense, they're going to use everything to try to get that prolonged to make their best case, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let him out. And I don't have any proof, but I'm pretty sure that he was messaging me. Be like, I can't believe that he's out walking the street. Well, that's crazy because there's only about 5 people that know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you the crackhead friend that you're trying to say that you are doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't put a news article out saying that he was out.
Yeah.
They pretty much told the people that were the victims of the crime, which was like family and me, Gayleen. And that was it. Right. So he actually... I get letters from the prison about, appeals and things like that. I haven't got him for a while because it's been a while now since he's been incarcerated. But he also did stab somebody.
So, while he was out?
While he's been in prison since he's been sentenced. He stabbed somebody in Gunnison. I got a letter about that.
What's his
name? Who? The guy that shot him? Jonathan Delgado.
Okay.
Is his name. Remember when they sentenced him and they're like, 16 to life. Premeditated, 16 to life in the state of Utah.
Wow.
So I remember how upset we are. And I remember the prosecutor, I remember this clear as day. Because I'm upset. Tears rolling down my face. I'm like, really? Like 16 years?
Yeah.
That's it? 16 years? Like you take somebody's life and that's all you get? Like that's fucked up. And, we're all kind of freaking out. But I remember the prosecutor going, do you remember all the stuff that we found in his house when they did the search warrant? Yeah. You really think that he's going to have the best behavior for 16 years and he's going to get out the first shot? No. So they're like, there's no way he'll do more time. So I've not even been keeping track. Who knows how many other people he's stabbed or what he's done or what assaults he's has in there.
Right.
And for now, I've forgiven him now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Honestly, it was a hard pill to swallow then, but now, we're talking, this is what? 7.5 years later since he's been sentenced. Good for him if he gets out. I hope he learned his lesson and he doesn't go hurt somebody again. That's my only worry is I don't want him to hurt somebody again.
Yeah.
But that's on the state of Utah, not me. And that's on him, so I try not to worry about it anymore. But it was really hard. It took me, even though me and him weren't together, it was a really hard year after he died. It was extremely difficult.
What did healing look like in that year?
I didn't heal.
Yeah.
I don't think I started healing until a couple of years ago from that as well. Because in my mind, and still sometimes I do have it, is where I deserved everything because of me being on drugs and me abandoning my kids and me ruining my marriage and me ruining my life and me ruining this and me ruining that. I beat myself up. It's only been the last couple of years. And sometimes I still do.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I still get mad and talk shit to myself about it. And then I have to be like, you've been sober. It'll be 12 years in November that I've been sober. 12 years. I'm like, and You don't lie to people. You don't steal from people. But I felt like I had deserved it. And so I didn't heal.
Yeah.
And you can see by the decisions that I made with the people that I allowed into my life, friends and relationships.
Do you feel like being stuck in survival mode had anything to do with that?
Oh yeah. Shit, I'm still in survival mode.
Right.
I mean, I have my good days,
Yeah.
but I'm still in survival mode for a lot of things. I can calm myself and I feel a lot more, and I'm not in survival mode a lot more, but I'm still in survival mode, if that makes any fucking sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I still have all these responsibilities that fall on me.
Mm-hmm.
And like yesterday I was having like this big pity party on myself. Like yesterday was a very hard day for me. Like I was struggling. I was beating myself up so bad yesterday and having one of those ugly days, because like I said before, if somebody tells you they're happy all the time and healing's perfect and their life's perfect, they're lying. They're full of fucking shit.
Absolutely.
Because we all have our shitty days. We all have our fuck you days. I'm a horrible person. I don't know what, where you just beat yourself up. I'm so fat. I'm so ugly. Whatever it is.
Yeah. You could go back to yourself at your lowest point and tell yourself something. What would it be?
Don't listen to yourself.
Yeah.
You are worth everything and you don't deserve what you're going through. And if you would stop listening to yourself, you would crawl out of that hole you put yourself in. But quit listening to your negative thoughts and quit listening to that you deserve this, and quit listening that you're always going to be a drug addict and that you abandon your kids. And one thing that I realized is, I felt awful for that time I missed in my kid's life. I mean, it was such a short time, it was a year and a half. And, you think that's not that long of a time, but it really is. It's a huge time that my poor kids had to go through. The divorce, me not being there. And I beat myself up about that for a long time. And I still beat myself up, but I've also talked to my kids about it. We've had conversations. And, part of it was I knew he was going to take care of those kids.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best dad. I couldn't have asked for a better father to those kids. I think looking back too, if I wasn't so down on myself and so mean to myself about everything, I probably would have got sober a lot quicker. But then I wouldn't have Faye either. I mean, you go back and forth on the thinking, like, and she looks so much like him.
Mm-hmm.
I see, like, I have a part of him still.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about him now, I try not to think about the awful times. I try to think about the sober Steven.
Yeah.
The fun Steven.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tell myself, don't listen to yourself.
Randin's story is a difficult one to hear, not just because of the abuse, but because it reminds us how powerful shame can become. Throughout this conversation, one thing became painfully clear. When you don't believe you're worthy of more, you'll often settle for less than you deserve. But there was one moment that stopped me in my tracks. When I asked Randin what she would tell the version of herself living through all of this, she didn't say leave sooner. She didn't even say don't meet him. She simply said, don't listen to yourself. Because the voice shaped by trauma will tell you that you deserve the abuse. It will convince you to stay where you're suffering. Healing begins when you stop believing that voice and start believing you're worthy of more. If you or someone you know needs support, you can contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or simply text START to 88788. If you're struggling with addiction or substance use, you can also contact SAMHSA's National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-4357. It's free, confidential, and available 24 hours a day. If someone else's drinking or addiction has affected your life, or your life has become unmanageable from the abuse, Al-Anon family groups offer free support meetings for family members and loved ones. You can find local and virtual meetings. And if you have a story to tell, this is your space. You can reach out through sunshinefaymedia@gmail.com to share your story. Because abuse thrives in silence, and healing begins when we speak our truth. Join us next week, where we will talk about the manipulation tactics used on Randin. Thank you for listening, and talk to you soon.